Hey, thanks for joining me today on this Fact Check Friday. It's August 18th, 2023. Look at that garbled mess there on the screen. How about that? Anyway, we're streaming live. Rumble.com/coffeenuance/live and on YouTube. Other places as well. So, thanks for joining us. And today, ladies and gentlemen, gather around because I got a special edition of Can You Believe This? I'm your host, Tom Coffee, and today we're diving into political roller coasters, so buckle up because we're talking about President Joe Biden's recent storytelling escapades and a little something that might just be sending shockwaves through the media landscape. You know, politics is a game of narratives, and Joe Biden sure knows how to spin a yarn. Forget about those drab economic speeches. Biden's been spicing things up with some personal anecdotes, and well, let's just say they're a little more fictional than a sci-fi novel. I mean, who needs a time machine when Biden claims he was hobnobbing with an Amtrak conductor during his vice presidency? The only catch, the conductor had already left the station, if you catch my drift. It's like a ghost story with a presidential twist. And that's not all, folks. Biden's been rewriting his own history, or should I say his family history. He's been claiming he witnessed his own grandfather's death. Oh, and let's not forget about his bridge-watching skills. He swears he saw a Pittsburgh bridge crumble before his very eyes. The only problem, it had already crumbled hours before he landed in the city. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Remember CNN? The network that's been Biden's biggest fan club, cheerleading him through thick and thin. Well, it seems like they've had a change of heart. Daniel Dale, CNN's very own fact-checker extraordinaire, has finally decided to give Biden's stories the skeptical side-eye they deserve. It's like they woke up from a media-induced slumber and realized, hey, we're supposed to be journalists, not Biden's public relations team. Could it be that the tide is turning? Could this be a sign, a signal that even the most devoted news outlets are starting to see through the rose-colored glasses? With Biden's re-election bid looming in the distance, it's not just about the stories he's telling, it's about the stories we're being told as voters. And if even CNN is raising an eyebrow, well, it might just be time to pay attention. CNN's fact check page has been so many fact checks about Trump, you'd think that he was actually the current president. What about Biden? For his presidency, it's been a radio silence from the network. It's almost as if they've been ignoring the biggest stories right under their nose. Until now. Skepticism is good for the soul, no matter what side of the aisle you're on. And in this newfound scrutiny means Biden's tall tales are being exposed on corporate media? Well, that's an interesting development. And it makes me wonder how long Joe will be in the race. My name's Tom Coffee. This is the Coffee Nuance Show. Best censored commentary and news show live right now. Flame on. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining me today on this Fact Check Friday. Don't forget, hit the like button. It helps somehow, perhaps, maybe. I don't know. But just do it. Just do it. Thank you for that. Anyway, if you're watching live, we got a number of people watching live on YouTube and on Rumble. What's up, everybody over there on Rumble? Hit me with a like or a comment or something. Let me know you're not a bot, you know. But, yeah, we're talking about these fact checks. And, you know, just a couple weeks ago, I made mention. I went through the CNN fact check page, and it was all about Trump. I mean, like, every story was about fact checking Trump. And boy, was I shocked that I saw a fact check about Biden. Let's actually check this out. Now, what I think is a little interesting about it is rather than having a bunch of different fact checks, let's cram them all into one, because we don't really need to expose it that much, right? So let's see. Here we go. So here's the article. Daniel Dale, he is the chief fact checker over there at CNN. The title of the article is Fact Check, Biden Tells 3 False Personal Anecdotes in Economic Speech. Well, the thing is, he's been telling these stories for a long time, but doesn't get a whole lot of scrutiny. So anyway, in a recent speech in Milwaukee, Joe Biden made several false claims about his own past, with his economic claims about his Inflation Reduction Act and the economy were somewhat accurate. He included 3 inaccurate personal anecdotes in his speech, okay? So the Amtrak story, I've covered this one before. Biden often shares this story about a conversation with an Amtrak conductor named Angelo Negri during his vice presidency. However, this story is debunked, as he passed away before this conversation supposedly took place, and the timing of the story doesn't match up with the facts. Now, despite media fact checks and opportunities to correct himself, Biden continues to tell this false story, and he did again on Tuesday in Milwaukee. He again repeated this story. He's been told, Joe, this story didn't happen. You made this up. And he can't help himself. He just can't help himself. He just has to keep telling the story. Well, here's another one. Biden's birth and grandfather's death, right? Biden repeated an anecdote about his grandfather dying just days before he was born in the same hospital. This story is also inaccurate, as his paternal grandfather died more than a year before Biden's birth, and in a different hospital. While Biden's maternal grandfather did die in the same hospital he was born in, it was when Biden was 14 years old, not right before his own birth. So he's been told about this before. He's been told, no, this didn't happen. Quit telling this story, Joe. He can't help himself. It's a good story, so he keeps telling it. And here's the Pittsburgh bridge collapse. Again, this one's been fact-checked before. Biden claimed he saw a bridge collapse in Pittsburgh during his visit there, implying he witnessed it firsthand. However, the bridge had collapsed hours before he'd even arrived in Pittsburgh, and he only visited the site after the collapse had happened. So again, he's been told, quit telling this story, Joe. It's not true. And he keeps telling it. These are all in the same speech. He's repeating all of these in the same speech. And lastly, let's talk about the national debt here. Biden falsely claimed that he'd reduced the federal budget by $1.7 trillion during his first 2 years in the office. Claims incorrect, as the national debt has actually increased significantly during his presidency. The White House corrected this claim in the official transcript, noting that the reduction was in the deficit, the one-year difference between spending and revenue, rather than the debt itself. Okay, so anyway, these inaccuracies in Biden's speech highlight his tendency to make false claims about his own past, even when faced with factual evidence to the contrary. This really shows me, though, that Biden is, well, one, he can't control himself, right? We've seen he has to sniff people, he has to touch people, he has to massage people. No matter how many times they've told him, Joe, keep your hands to yourself, he can't do it. They keep telling Joe, quit telling these stories, everybody knows they're lies, and he can't help himself. He just has to keep doing it. For the longest time, though, CNN has been Biden's biggest cheerleader. And finally, they've done a story highlighting all of these lies by their chief fact checker. So it does really make me wonder, did CNN get the memo? We're done with Joe. We're going to move on to somebody else. CNN, you know what to do. Do your part. start running stories that actually tell the truth about Joe Biden. Well, so far, CNN has not revealed that the story I did yesterday about the pseudonym that Biden was using, they've still ignored that story. About the Mr. Peters pseudonym that he was using to contact the president of Ukraine. CNN still hasn't fessed up to that story yet. Still hasn't shown up at the New York Times or the Washington Post. Wow. But because Daniel Dale is actually doing some fact-checking on Joe Biden, does this signal an end to the coverage, the fake coverage of Joe Biden? Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm interested to hear what you think about this. I have been predicting for quite a while that Joe Biden will not be the candidate for the Democrats. Although I don't know when they're going to pull him out. When are they going to pull him out? Don't know. Interesting. Anyway, I got a number of stories to get to today. This was a big one, though, wasn't it? CNN actually fact-checked Joe Biden? What the hell? That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, a prediction that I made earlier this week has already come true. Let's see what that is. So did you hear about Trump's recent moves? First, he cancels his irrefutable evidence show. Turns out irrefutable is just Latin for I forgot to bring it. And then he decided to skip the Republican debate, saying his record speaks for itself. So, former President Donald Trump is facing some social media mockery after making 2 consecutive announcements. Initially, he canceled a scheduled news conference where he said he had promised to provide irrefutable evidence of election fraud in the 2020 presidential election. Well, we all know that there was no election fraud in the presidential election in 2020. We all know that. So how could he produce evidence to the contrary? Well, he made this claim, and earlier this week he said, on Monday I'm gonna have a press conference and I'm gonna show irrefutable evidence of rigging. And what was my prediction? I said that conference would not happen and we would not see that evidence. I made that prediction earlier this week, and I'm already true. It's too bad we can't bet on this stuff. Yeah, I mean, despite his continual claims, he and his allies have failed to produce enough evidence over the past 3 years. Trump now claims that this evidence will be presented through legal filings, rendering the news conference unnecessary. You buying this? Anyway, in another announcement, he declared he would not participate in the upcoming Republican presidential debate, citing his impressive record. And he's been ridiculed for both of these decisions, understandably. So yeah, I did predict that he would not present this irrefutable proof, and he's pulled out. He said, "No, I'm not gonna do this as a press conference." So I guess we'll keep waiting. I'm still waiting for this irrefutable proof, Trump. But you can't make the claim that you're going to do this and then not do it. Right? You're as good as your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it. We can handle the truth. Absolutely. Anyway, let's get to some podcast news, specifically Spotify. So, You know, folks, Spotify's got a real dilemma on their hands with these white noise podcasts. They're like, do we let people listen to calming waves and whirring fans, or do we make money? Right? So here's the story. White noise podcasts on Spotify are making good money, but the company is considering removing them to boost their profits. These podcasts unintentionally gained popularity through Spotify's algorithm. Although they earned revenue, Spotify thought they weren't as profitable as other content. The company contemplated removing them and changing the algorithm to recommend cheaper content, potentially adding $38 million to annual profits. Spotify's Anchor software helps creators monetize their podcasts, while some white noise podcasts are temporarily disappeared from Spotify. They decided not to remove them in the end. So I'm not sure why people would listen to white noise podcasts. White noise is white noise. And I guess if you just found a white noise recording that you like, why not just save that recording and play that? You know, if you want to get to sleep, if you want, white noise in your bedroom while you're trying to sleep. They just have little machines and whatnot. It's kind of weird, I think, to stream things that you don't need to stream. Right? If you have a favorite album and you stream it every day, why not just own the album? Or why not just download the music so you don't have to stream it every single day? There's nothing really that special about a white noise podcast. Although this does make me kind of jealous. I should have been putting up white noise podcasts. Seems like there's good money in it, right? If they're saying by getting rid of this they can save $38 million. Well, wow, there's something there. The hell am I doing with these silly talks about the news? There's no money in that. But apparently there is in white noise podcasts. Anyway, it is interesting to see that these big companies are really looking into all their profit margins and seeing, what makes money, what doesn't make money. And I guess they don't respect the makers of the white noise podcast, I suppose. I don't know. Kind of weird. Do you use any white noise to sleep better? I know a lot of people do. A lot of people do. And this next story also has to do with sleeping better. Folks, they say adding a blue light filter to your glasses is like putting an umbrella in your drink. It sounds fancy, but it won't stop the party. Turns out all the talk about protecting your eyes from computer strain and saving your retinas is about as effective as sunscreen in a vampire convention. So adding a blue light filter to eyeglasses might not help with eye strain from computer use, protect the retina, or improve sleep, according to a review of research. The study found no short-term advantages in using these filters to reduce computer-related eye fatigue. Blue light filters only block a small portion of blue light and would need to be more noticeable to be effective, which could affect color perception. The study advises considering these findings before buying such glasses. Instead, it suggests measures like regular eye checkups, proper screen distance, larger displays, breaks, and other things to prevent eye strain. So that is what's up with the blue light glasses. I've always been a bit skeptical of the blue light glasses, but however, we know that placebo is a real thing. And if you think that wearing these blue light glasses helps you get to sleep better, well, then keep doing it. Right? If it's something that you believe, go on, keep doing it. It's not going to hurt you to wear these glasses. Now, I do know that, the science behind this is that blue lights in electronics stimulate stimulate you more than other light waves. And so the idea is if you don't have those, if you're not seeing those near when you go to bed, it's going to make it easier for you to relax and whatnot. My suggestion, there's different software that you can do to turn off, to make your computer like a nighttime computer that's not putting out as many blue rays. That's one example. Another example that I like is go Amsterdam, go red light district, if you will. Put a red light in your bedroom, okay? And just at night when you're getting ready for bed, don't have the regular light on. Just have a red light on, and you're not getting those blue light waves. I found that it is helpful for me before bed just to have a red light on so I can still get around and see things, but it's not giving me those blue light waves that might be, you know, activating. But who knows? Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. It works for me, in my head it does. And so obviously the best thing you can do is just turn off your screens about an hour before you go to bed, right? That's the easiest thing to do. But for me, I like a red light. To me, a red light works well. You can try different things. And again, just because something might not be backed by science, right? Just because there might be some scientific evidence that shows that these blue light blocking glasses might not work as well as you think they do. If it's working for you, who cares? Go with what works, right? You know, it's the same thing. If you could just have a little mantra as you walked into your bedroom, like when I walk in my bedroom, I say, I'm relaxed, I'm going to sleep well. I'm relaxed, I'm going to sleep well. I'm relaxed, I'm going to sleep well. If that works, just do it. Just do it. Who cares if science isn't backing you up on this? Go with what works. Anyway, we need some good news, and sarcastically, I've got some good news for you. You know, folks, I just heard about this gig. It's like a dream come true for some Texans. Yeah, Finance Buzz is offering $1,000 to taste test foods at Buc-ee's. $1,000 to eat snacks. I mean, come on. I've been doing that for free my whole life. They're even throwing in $250 for the snacks. Like, do they know how much Cheetos cost these days? So, here's the story, and I'll explain why it's good news. So Finance Buzz, a financial advice website, is offering an opportunity for Buc-ee's enthusiasts to become a taste tester. The chosen person will receive $1,000 and an extra $250 for expenses to sample 25 popular foods from Buc-ee's, a well-known rest stop chain in Texas and other southern states. To qualify, individuals need to reside near or be willing to travel to one of Buc-ee's 50 locations. Testers will be expected to try a variety of snacks, right? And they'll be required to share their experiences through written reviews and photos, which will contribute to an upcoming story. So there you go. That's a job for any. Wouldn't anybody love that job? Get a $1,200. Go to Buc-ee's, walk around, taste stuff. Yeah. Well, I have been pointing out this marketing strategy, and this is probably the third or fourth time that I've done a story on this marketing strategy and how it works. Now, I'm still looking for a name for this kind of strategy. The strategy is, we're Finance Buzz. We need a bigger mailing list. Okay? What can we do to get a bigger mailing list for our financial website. I know. Let's come up with some BS thing where we pay somebody $1,000 to do something really fun. And then all of these lazy journalists all across the country that make all this clickbait crap, they will just cut and paste our story because it's an easy story, right? Everyone will copy this story. They will post it on their own website. We can grow our email list. And there you go. Win, win, win. Well, why is this good news, Tom? You're like, why is this good news? Well, it's good news because today I'm hoping that in the comments, someone will come up with a name for this PR strategy. And then I can make a video about this PR strategy that you helped me name, right? But this is a strategy. It works well. I keep pointing out how it works. You know, other stories like this have been, oh, this one website is going to pay somebody $1,000 to watch all the Fast and the Furious movies. And you're like, whoa, I can get paid $1,000 to watch Fast and Furious movies? No, they're paying $1,000 and they're getting national press. I should do this, you know? I should offer $1,000, you know, for some, you know, to, I don't know, write a review about my show, and then the press would pick this up. I mean, they wouldn't, but because obviously I think that, you know, I'm not a known truck stop chain. You know, that helps. But this is just this is a PR strategy that is used quite often. It seems like every 2 weeks there will be a story like this. Oh, you got a dream job. You can, you know, try 42 different flavors of gummy bears and earn $1,000. You know, it's like they're really silly stories. But I don't have a name for it yet. Give me a name, please. In the comments, give me a name for this type of PR. It's like a pay per, pay to get my email list big type of thing. But I don't know. I need a good name. So let me know a good name. And if you come up with a good name, I will make a video about this strategy. That's cool. Somebody online is going to make a video named after your comment. So there you go. I look forward to seeing the names that everyone comes up with. And I'll let you know what I decide, if we decide to name that. Anyway, that's the good news. That's all the story that I have for you today. Stick around for the after show. I'm going to go through all your comments. Go through all your comments on the different platforms. I hope you have an awesome, awesome weekend. And I'll see you next week. Until then, peace. Nine people watching right now on Rumble. Not a single comment? Come on. Come on. Come on, Rumble. What are you doing to me? Live chat is empty in Rumble. Shame, shame, shame. Anyway, let's see what's happening over on the YouTubes. Everybody checking in. Lucid Moment says, I turned on CNN years ago. Garbage information. Yeah. Wait, I thought you were using yesterday's thumbnail again, but you changed it. Yeah, when I posted the video originally, I used the wrong thumbnail, but I fixed it. So there you go. Taking one for the team watching CNN for us. I didn't actually watch CNN. I looked at their website. Yeah. So if the government can just print money, why do we need to pay taxes? That's a good question. Tom, CNN may have ignored the pseudonym story, but Ben Shapiro and The Hill have talked about it. Well, yeah, I did. I have seen the pseudonym story, right? What was the name? Peters. It was yesterday. How can I not even remember the name? Anyway, Robert L. Peters. That's right. So yesterday I talked about Robert L. Peters, how Biden was had some pseudonyms so he could talk to various world leaders and business partners in secret. And I predicted that the New York Times, Washington Post, and CNN would not discuss it. So far, they have not. So far, they have not talked about that story at all. So perhaps, even though CNN is doing some fact checks on Joe Biden, it doesn't seem that they have fully got on board with being critical or having any scrutiny against him. Mr. Trump needs a couple thumb drives like the Democrats had. I don't know anything about thumb drives, and I'm not making any claims on that. I have to say, Tom, the Democrat vibe is strong in you sometimes. I'm not sure what you mean by that. You know, I will say, you know, when I talked about Trump making the claim that he would be able to produce all this evidence, I don't know that that story was even covered on Democrat media, right? I mean, you don't think that CNN would cover that Trump was making claims that he was going to show evidence because they wouldn't want to promote that, right? You think MSNBC is doing stories about how Trump is going to show evidence about the last election? No, of course not. So I'm not sure that I take it on if you think that I do have a Democrat vibe. I think you're mistaken, but we can have different opinions on things. Salt rock lamp light helps me sleep. Well, I say go with what works, right? If you've got one of those pink Himalayan salt rocks and it chills you out, well, that's cool. I thought blue light in electronics meant that there was a sale going on, Kmart days. That's a long time ago that they would have the flashing blue light. That's just showing my age, but that was hilarious. Back in the old days of retail, they had this blue light that was like a siren that would spin around, and they would have it, and on the pole would go up in a Kmart, and they would announce a blue light special, and it would be like, blue light special. We've got Rubbermaid laundry baskets, normally $6.95. Now, $4.95 during our blue light special, and you would look up and see where in the store there was the blue light, and you could go and you could get these special deals that were only available at the time. That was the blue light special at Kmart. Thank you for reminding me of that. That was a long time ago. Cuddling my cats knocks me out faster than anything. We'll go with what works. I have 2 out of 5 dogs around me at all times. That relaxes me till I need to roll over. I can't imagine. I do not let my dog in my bedroom, and I can't imagine that. But we're all different, right? But again, I say go with what works. Natasha says, Buc-ee's is awesome. I had my first experience last summer. They have a huge variety of jerky. I would love that job, except it would probably not work out with my eating quirks. Well, the catch is that it's not a real job. It's like a way that they can pay very little, $1,000, right? And they get a big ton of publicity, and they get to build their email list. And that's really what it's all about. It's not an actual job. I've been to Buc-ee's, good place to stop for a quick lunch, one-stop shopping. Yeah, we don't have the big truck stops out here in Oregon that you have there in Texas and across the South. I have been to Buc-ee's before, but it's just like a really, really big convenience store that's like the size of a Walgreens or something, or even bigger. Just an insanely big convenience store. But it is really well maintained. At least that's what I remember. It's Marfugal TV channel. I think Friday nights is a call-in show, but not sure. Not sure what that is in reference to. I still love you, Tom. That's okay. You know? And if you get that I do a story and I do have some kind of Democrat vibe, perhaps I was really rooting. I was really hoping that Trump would deliver the goods and show actual evidence about the last election. I was really hoping for that, but I've heard this claim so many times, it's like, I'll believe it when I see it, right? When I actually get to see it, that's when I'll believe it. But this whole thing like, oh, this big event is going to happen very, very soon. That's all just marketing. That's all just sales. And, you know, eventually we clue in that that's what it is, right? Eventually we do find that out. So I guess in that spirit, on Monday, I'm going to have the greatest show. I'm going to have information for you on Monday I can't even discuss right now online. So you're really going to want to tune in on Monday to get that fantastic, exclusive information coming to you on Monday. So definitely you want to tune in for that. So there you go. That's my style of doing that kind of thing. But it's true. Monday's show, I'm going to have some incredible news I can't even talk about right now. So you're going to want to tune in for that. If you want to be reminded about that, hit the bell, get notifications. Be sure to hit that like button. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. I am glad that you all were here. Yeah, have an awesome weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Peace.